Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between FrozenHobo and me here in the Delta Quadrant. Yeah, there's been one or two pretty persistent people who have been asking me to go ahead and shoutcast one of my own games. So I was trying to find some games and like some high-level games to shoutcast, and apparently I couldn't find that all too many. Some of the websites are down, and I thought I would take this opportunity to at least shoutcast one of my own games. So here I am spawning as the red Terran player at this 5 o'clock position. Meanwhile, we have FrozenHobo spawning here as the blue Protoss player at the 8 o'clock position. This is part of this was part of the BattleNet North American servers. I am currently ranked 1 in Diamond. It used to mean a lot more before Master League came out. Yeah, 1 in Diamond doesn't mean all too much anymore. I'm still trying to get into Masters, trying to play a little bit more consistently, getting my build orders together, and also having a plan. So doing the standard build, going for a 10 depot, gonna let this SCV return, start mining once again, taking a look at FrozenHobo. Hobo doing a standard economic build as well, nothing too out of the ordinary. And then I build my barracks here, trying to make it so that if any probes do try to come in and harass this one SCV, my SCV can get there in a hurry and offer some support. So hopefully that will be the case as a probe now makes its way across the map. FrozenHobo now going to come in with this probe, be able to get some decent scouting information on my base, as I am currently getting a refinery and a barracks. You can see the gateway already being warped in. It is currently about halfway done, and FrozenHobo, I believe he's gonna go for a pylon next, and then a pylon, then cybernetics core. Pretty standard economic build so far. We can see that Hobo, he had rallied in, and he had came in and he actually saw my base, but he didn't stick around for very much longer. So I believe he just rallied there, and he didn't even check to see what my gas was. So that was a little bit of a surprise. As a Marine, now gonna go out to walk on this front door here. Now, a lot of Protoss players early on now send out a very early zealot. So that early zealot can cause a lot of harassment and deal a lot of damage early. So what you got to be careful is, as me, I like to go ahead and try to rally or just have three SCVs hotkeyed to one of my control groups. That way I'm able to use those SCVs and try to bring them off the mineral line without very easily while getting some damage. And you can see this probe now taking some damage. Down it goes. It did see the refinery here, and I am building a supply depot over here on the back door. For those of you guys who watched the live stream, yes, this was on the live stream, as I'm sure you guys have already seen and noticed. Back over here, you can take a look into the base, and I see 2 gateways already in place. So I'm expecting a very heavy 4-gate or a very heavy 4-gate rush, especially since there is nothing over here on the Vespene Geyser, and that is a lot of minerals. So that should be a lot of stalkers and a lot of zealots knocking on my front door in just a moment. I'm responding by getting a bunker here and trying to train up more and more Marines. And I believe another thing that I do is I want to make sure that it is very difficult for those units to even walk in. So I'm going to be setting up a barracks with a reactor right here. Having the barracks with a reactor allows me to double train up Marines. It also makes this choke point much more difficult to break through, as there is only this location here. I'm also building a tech lab, and then if I need to, I can build another supply depot right there, and then preventing any of those stalkers from being able to walk by. One stalker trying to knock on that front door, unable to get any serious damage whatsoever. And now, because I know that he didn't get an assimilator, or he is a little bit behind on gas right now, he won't be able to get a robotics bay for a little bit of time, and that's going to buy me time in order to macro up even further. I'm currently training up some siege tanks. I do have a reactor here, and I'm going to be going for mass marine tank. A marine tank, very strong against Protoss early on, but the one weakness that I found that one of the things that I found that it's weak against the Guardian Shield sentries and zealots in particular. Zealots are able to close in on that distance, get a lot of damage in. Once they also have that Guardian Shield armor, it essentially gives their base armor of 3. So what I want to do is I'm going to be going for an engineering bay in just a second, and with that engineering bay, I'm going to research the level 1 weapons upgrade. I'm also making sure that there are no proxy pylons here, moving over with a siege tank. Siege tank does fire fast enough to take down some stalkers as they're trying to warp, and that's why I moved in with the siege tank. And instead of any of those marines, you can see a second siege tank now being trained up already, in addition to that engineering bay that I was talking about just moments ago. So barracks now trained, barracks still training up more units. You can see a proxy pylon now trying to be warped in over here, and you can see that FrozenHobo does have a much stronger army than me at this point. Marines now trying to fight back, dealing some damage here, and now those siege tanks, however, able to get a lot of damage across the board. Siege tanks fire very, very quickly out of siege modes. They attack at almost the same rate as stimmed marauders. So that's one of the reasons why they are so strong out of siege mode. They attack almost as fast as stimmed marauders, but they deal 5 additional damage both to armored and unarmored units. You can see the level 1 weapons upgrade now is being started, and I'm going for a starport just so I can be able to train up any medevacs. Now I do a scanner sweep because I haven't seen what's in his base for quite some time. I see the robotics bay, and I expect that there will be observers, so I quickly build a missile turret here, making it so that if any observers are nearby, that I'm able to spot them, and I'm able to shoot it down, because this barracks is awfully close to that front door and can take some damage outside of the range of these marines and these siege tanks. You can see now FrozenHobo trying to take down these destructible rocks. He will be able to successfully take them down and perhaps set up a nexus in just a second, already moving out with 1 probe. I didn't even know about this one particular expansion that he's currently trying to set up. You can see I'm sitting at 1400 at 500 gas. He's sitting on 1475 with 575. I'm still double training up marines. I am almost supply locked, so I need to continue to build up more and more supply depots. Yeah, still working on my macro. You can see I'm almost up to 400 minerals there, a little bit of a mistake. 1 SCV joining in, and now I'm going to bring in some SCVs to join in on this fight. Level 1 weapons upgrade nearing completion, only needs 30 seconds more. Stalkers, Immortals are over here, and they are grouped together, but with the sheer number of marines that I have off of these double barracks, I'm going to be able to train up so many more marines. Command center now being built, and wow, I am looking at this replay realizing how supply locked I was, and how much it is actually hurting me in terms of my army. My army could be much larger at this point. 1 probe down over here. I believe I was going to be able to move it down in just a second. The probe was able to scout out this position. I accidentally picked up some medevacs, my units there, and now bringing up some siege tanks. So I have a large group of marines and siege tanks blasting away, both sides going back and forth. In come those sentries, so marines now pulling back, but the marines are upgraded 1-0, so I'm able to deal a lot of damage across those immortals and get through that hardened shield very, very quickly. 1150 versus 1600 versus 1150 right now, so my army is still a little bit smaller, but I'm going to slowly inch forward with these siege tanks and try to deal more damage. I did see that there was something over here. Wanted to quickly make sure that I didn't miss anything. But in production, I am queuing up a lot of units and now trying to stair-step my units in. Stalkers have taken a fair amount of damage. There are 2 siege tanks here, so they would be able to get a lot of damage across those stalkers, as they need to be tightly grouped together in order to fight back these marines. And now pulling back with those marines, just dancing back and forth. More siege tanks just slowly pushing out. Marines getting some damage, trying to bait in even more attacks, and those marines with a 1-0 upgrade dealing so much damage. And now able to just continue to macro up a lot of production. 4 marines, 1 siege tank. 1 siege tank may get picked off there, but marines are now able to just continue to give chase, force many of those stalkers to retreat. As soon as I have them in retreat mode, what I want to do is I want to place siege tanks here and here. By doing so, I can make sure that I can do a lot of it. Oh, my siege tanks moving out a little bit too far forward. Marines now coming in. Siege tanks are going to get picked apart, but those marines are the ones that are really dealing the damage. If you can tell, without any zealots, those marines are just able to pick and deal a lot of damage. You're going to be able to walk up this ramp. I didn't see any sentries in that group. He's finally warping in a sentry there. And without any siege tanks, I do not want to walk up that ramp too dangerously. More units still being trained over. I am building an expansion, or the expansion is already set up, and I will be upgrading that. Another siege tank will be able to siege up right here. and then I'm going to be able to walk up this ramp under the cover of 1 siege tank. There is 3 medevacs as well, and I believe I'm getting the level 1 armor upgrades as well to make sure I don't take as much damage from those zealots. Marines, 23 Marines, just simply walking in, even with that force field blocking it, I'm able to walk in very, very easily, getting a lot of damage. Stalkers continue to fight back, but the sheer number of upgraded Marines, 1-0 Marines, so strong against these Stalkers, and FrozenHobo is forced to say GG. So yeah, a game between me and FrozenHobo. It was a BattleNet game. This is probably my current level of skill. I am watching the replay and I realized that around 67 food, I really did become supply locked for quite some time, not producing any units. And I think that's why the battle was as drawn out as it was, as I could have supplemented my army much, much better. Also, if you take a look at my harvester count, I only have 36 harvesters. So I still need to work on my macro, train up more SCVs. At 13 minutes into this game, especially that I didn't take any real damage in my base, I should probably have somewhere in the realm of around 50 SCVs if I didn't relent. Anyways, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay as I cover my skills and figure out what I did right and wrong here in the Delta Quadrant.